Good morning. It's Dispeller. We're going to be doing this book now, Dealing with People You Can't Stand. How to Bring Out the Best in People at Their Worst. This is the revised and expanded third edition, and it's by Dr. Rick Brinkman and Dr. Rick Kirshner, with a little bit of expository in between by yours truly, of course. We're going to be just talking about the introduction today. The reason I'm just starting with the introduction and not doing a full chapter, there's a couple reasons. Number one, I have to go to work shortly. So I like to have my mornings somewhat free to just kind of chillax before I have to go catch my bus. But number two, because I'm going to be doing a poll, and I would appreciate everybody's participation who enjoys these book reading videos. The poll will be basically what time is best for me to do these readings, because I kind of want to know everybody's schedules, and I don't know any other way to do it other than polling and asking people to kind of explain when are you at your bright-eyed and bushy-tailest to actually listen to a book reading and to participate in chat if you so deem something you would like to do. Now, I think this book, I'm not surprised in the poll that you guys chose this one, because let's face it, online and offline, there are people in our lives that we would say, I can't stand her, I can't stand him. So I think it's apropos that this book got chosen to be the next book that I do the review of. I'm happy to be able to do this. I'm glad God, Yahweh, Almighty Creator, that He is, gave me a voice to be able to read clearly and succinctly, to pronounce words pretty much properly, and to hold the attention of others who are interested in learning, but just plain don't have the time to read, or maybe you hate reading. Maybe you are one of those people that gets those iTunes or whatever they're called, those books on tape or books recorded, because you hate reading and you're like, just let somebody else do it. I'll just listen while I balance my budget or whatever it is you're doing over there in your home. So I get it. I too have those times when I would rather just listen than read, but I'm happy that I have the ability to read for those that don't want to or can't. So we're going to begin with the introduction. That's all I'm going to do today is the introduction. Then I'm going to open up the floor, the room, whatever you want to call it, for a chat afterwards. It won't be a long one because, as I said, I'm getting ready to go to work. But I do want to give you a chance to give some input. Maybe talk to me about what the last book meant to you, or if you want, just tell me what you're hoping to get out of this series. It will be interesting to share that. All right. Introduction. People you can't stand. They're those difficult people who are either not doing things you want them to do or doing things you do not want them to do, and you don't know what to do about them. Well, you don't have to be their victim anymore. While you can't change the difficult people, you can communicate with them in such a way that they change themselves. It's a matter of knowledge how to get through to them when they're behaving badly. This book will help you to identify and assemble elements of effective communication. In that sense, communication with problem people is similar to making a phone call. You have to dial all the numbers in the correct order if you want to get through. Leave out just one digit, only 10% of the whole number if you include the area code, and your call will not go through. Dial the area code as an afterthought, and your call will get through to the wrong party. But it is possible to learn the number, dial it correctly, and completely transform your interactions with the people you can't stand. Unfortunately, there will always be a few difficult people who, no matter what you do, refuse to answer the phone and take your call. In those rare instances, you can switch metaphors and think of dealing with people you can't stand as making a trip to the communication gym. Difficult people will help you work out your communication muscles and develop your communication stamina. In turn, this may be the very strength you'll need at some later time and place to preserve a more valuable relationship. We will direct your attention to 5 key areas for solving your people problems. Before I tell you what these 5 areas are, please, if you haven't done so already, like and subscribe to this video. All you have to do is hit that little thumb up that puts me out there on what they call the algorithm, which means people can find us. And maybe they're dealing with some difficult people. So if you'll help me out, I'd appreciate it. And also share the video, tell your friends about me, send them to my channel because maybe this will help them. Who knows? Everybody's dealing with something, somebody, or something that's plaguing them. And people are just part of everyday life in one form or another. We all have those kind of issues with people. And also, if you haven't already, check out some of my other books, which will be up here at some point, or down there, or up there, wherever, and subscribe to the channel. And that's that. Alrighty. So number one, first we'll examine the forces that compel people to be difficult in such a variety of ways. Where one person starts yelling, another shuts down and says nothing, while yet another starts sniping. These fascinating differences are indicators of differing behavioral intentions that have been thwarted. Once you understand these differences, you'll be less inclined to personalize difficult behavior. Then we'll examine essential communication skills that turn conflict into cooperation, emotion into reason, and hidden agendas into honest dialogue. The good news is that you use these essential skills already in your dealings with people that you get along with. The bad news is when dealing with problem people, the failure to use these skills is a big part of the problem. We're going to make the process of communication explicit so you can begin to use these skills when you most need them with people at their worst. This is going to be a great book for me as well because I work with people. Not that I can't stand them, but sometimes they're not very communicative. So you have to be able to understand where they're coming from and open them up, know what buttons to push, so to speak, not to manipulate, but to get a response of some kind that's favorable, hopefully. But there are some people that you're never going to change. They're not going to interact with you the way you want, and you just need to deal with that. And they'll talk about that too in this book. Next, we'll focus on specific strategies for dealing with the 10 plus 3 most difficult behaviors of the people you can't stand. You'll learn exactly what you can do to get people to stop whining, attacking, blowing up, and breaking promises. Number 4, increasingly, we define our relationships with others using the phone and email. We hope you make the most of these tools to avoid conflict and build cooperation instead. Listen, there are some people you're never going to change. There are some people you're not going to get along with, but this is helping you with, I would say, the majority of people you're going to run into that just rub you the wrong way, so to speak. 5, toward the end of the book, we will address the subject of what to do when you can't stand yourself. By that time, you'll probably have recognized yourself in some of the descriptions of problem people. Chapter 23 will help you identify and alter your own difficult behavior, which will help you because the less difficult you are, the fewer the number of difficult people you'll have to deal with. Man, that's so true. You know, honestly, since I've pulled myself out of the majority of the drama on here, as I would call it, we call it drama because I think most people realize some of it is set up and some of it's real. Most of it, I would say, is not super real. I'm noticing because it goes on, and that's not real life. That's not how life works. But as you extricate yourself from those kind of problem situations, you don't deal with problem people either. So it's always helpful to just take a step back and observe, don't absorb. Okay. Let's see here. So we recommend you read chapters 1 through 9, then turn directly to the chapter that deals with your difficult person. Before you read on, allow us to introduce ourselves and tell you how we came to write this book. Okay, we're going to get to know the authors now. We are Rick and Rick, best friends, business partners, and naturopathic physicians. Although our profession was born in the United States over 100 years ago, you may have never heard of it until now. We became friends while med students, but our friendship blossomed when a physician and surgeon from an area hospital became our mentor. You know what's interesting to me, though? A lot of these books that I'm reading are written by what could be termed New Age philosophers or something like that. But here's the sad fact. People that claim to be Christians, Bible followers, fanatics, whatever, they write books, but they're very biased and slanted in one main direction. And the premise is if you don't dot every I and cross every T when it comes to being a Christian, quote unquote, meaning somebody that follows the Bible and the Bible truths. If you deviate from that in any way, shape, or form, then, we can't listen to you. We can't heed what you're saying. It's garbage. It's useless, whatever. I tend to veer. That's why they call me an eclectic Christian. Witches call me that. Pagans call me that. I tend to veer towards the New Agey stuff because, and I'm talking about book-wise, because they're more likely to explore things holistically, not just, well, this is the way we believe and this is how we're going to teach. And I think I get more out of the New Agey slant on things because it opens the mind. It gives you new avenues to explore that maybe you hadn't thought of before. So, yeah, I am open-minded when it comes to reading books and stuff, just so you know. Okay. Let's go backtrack a little bit. We became friends while med students, but our friendship blossomed when a physician and surgeon from an area hospital became our mentor. With his guidance and encouragement, we studied health from an attitudinal point of view. We hoped to determine the principles of mental and emotional health and to find out how these principles might be used to prevent or heal physical illness. Time and again, we found that when people clarify their values, work to fulfill their goals, and learn effective communication and relaxation skills, they feel better. And as their mental and emotional health improves, many of their specific physical symptoms disappear. Since the word physician means teacher, we began sharing these ideas through seminars and workshops. In 1982, a mental health organization asked us to create a program on how to deal with difficult people. That marked the official beginning of the research project that has culminated in this book, and in the process, we changed the way we define what we do. We now view all our work as a kind of continuing education in people. For over 2 decades, we've been learning about people's hopes and fears, how people build their lives or destroy them, how people communicate, what makes people difficult, and how to best deal with people at their worst. We've written this book to pass that information along to you. We've presented these ideas to enthusiastic response in seminars, on tape, and in print to over 1 million people. It is our hope and belief that the ideas in this book will make a meaningful and lasting difference in the quality of your life. So awesome. Dr. Rick Brinkman and Dr. Rick Kirshner, those are the 2 Ricks that wrote the book. So when we do start, we're going to be talking about getting to know the people you can't stand. They're going to be defining. And as you all know, I love labels. I love putting people into compartments. I love to know if somebody has a disorder, a dysfunction, whatever, because that tells me how to interact with them so that I'm not triggering them, so that we can get along. This book does that. It labels them, but in a different way. It talks about their personality, characteristics and such like that, that might rub you the wrong way, you might butt heads with them, whatever. And then it teaches you different attributes to look for and how to interact and how to communicate so that y'all get along. All right, there is literally 1 person watching me according to my screen. If that 1 person would like to, you can say hi and we can chat. If not, well, now there's no people. That's fine. And these can be uploads if necessary. But at any rate, I just wanted to put that intro out there. We will be getting into the chapters when I have more time. Obviously, right now I don't because I got to get ready for work. But you guys feel free to leave me comments down below, of course. Come in the room when I'm reading, if you will. I will do that poll, so please participate in the poll so I know exactly when the best time to have you or to have the readings so that you can actually be here for them if you would like. So on that note, y'all have a great day. Be blessed, and I will talk to you soon. Shalom. And that